Miguel, good to see you. Let's start with some injury updates.
Yeah.
William Saliba, what have you got for us?
I'm not going to be able to help you much today because we have another training session later on. Until that happens, we won't know what's going to happen with a few of the doubts that we have.
Did he have any testing yesterday, though? What is the nature of his injury?
Yeah, he had a little niggle, but I think it's going to be a matter of days. So let's see if he's able to do that tomorrow.
So matter of days for William. Leandro?
Matter of days as well.
Matter of days too. Kai Havertz?
Matter of weeks.
Matter of weeks.
I think so, yeah.
So do you think end of the month?
I don't know. Let's see how it evolves in the next few weeks. He's doing really well. He's doing stuff on the pitch, but I think he needs some time.
And how's Gabby doing?
Which Gabi?
Gabriel.
We have a lot. We've been one on the staff now.
Yeah, sorry. The one on the treatment table right now.
Big Gabi. Big Gabi is doing very well as well, but I mean that's weeks as well.
That's weeks. Okay, look, let's focus on Brentford. It's a busy week. It's a busy period for you. Is this an opportunity to rotate the squad, or is it a necessity to rotate the squad?
That's an opportunity tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Everybody, 7:30 p.m. kickoff to be at the Emirates, bouncing and putting energy to win the game. That's the opportunity that we have tomorrow. 7:30 p.m. Like animals, everybody at the Emirates to go again and beat Brentford. That's the opportunity.
So you see this Brentford game as
vital, massive, yes.
In a busy week, is that a challenge for you as a coach to make sure players are motivated, knowing that what you've got to come Saturday lunchtime and trip to Villa Park, then back to Champions League the week after?
No, because our motivation comes from preparation and how we prepare for every game to try to be better than the opposition. And where we are in the league and what we are doing, I don't think we need any more motivation than that.
And look, it's a vital fixture, but I talked about rotation. We've seen a lot of minutes for Declan Rice had a really busy week, full-on week. During Timber, exactly the same. Are they the sort of players that potentially you could rest them a little bit against Brentford?
We try to manage every case, every individual in relation to how they feel in the context of the matches, but just with the only purpose to have the best options on the pitch and to come to be better than the opponent. That's it.
Opportunity for Ben White tomorrow?
Opportunity for everybody, as I said.
Okay, let's talk about Brentford and their physicality. Physicality seems to have been maybe a bit more of a challenge for your side this year when we think about stadium like against Sunderland, a very physical side. Certainly what happened at Stamford Bridge on Sunday. How prepared are you for the challenge that Brentford will offer, particularly that incredibly long throw of Michael Chiodi?
Yeah. Well, that physicality comes from different areas in relation to the pitch, but I think every game that we play, when you look at intensity in the Premier League against any opponent, what is needed is incredible, and Brentford brings different threats, different challenges, as we all know, and you need to dominate that if you want to win the game.
A final one from me, Mikel. Danny Farke had some comments after his game against Manchester City about Donnarumma holding the ball, going down injured, taking a couple of minutes out of the game while Pep Guardiola was giving instructions on the sideline. He felt like it wasn't something that he likes to see. What's your opinion? Are we seeing that more, and not necessarily just from goalkeepers, but from outfield players going down at certain times of the game to kill time and maybe take the momentum out of games? Are we seeing it more, and is it something that maybe we should look at eradicating from the game in some way possible?
The game evolves, the rules evolve, and that's going to be constant. And you look in the Premier League now how many minutes are we playing, actually the effective time that we are playing, the effective time that we played on Sunday. There is a lot of things to look at and evolve. So that's an example, but there are many others that constantly the game and the rules has to be evolving because everybody tries to take an edge.
Can you understand Danny Farke's frustration though?
Yeah, especially when you are in the other side. Yeah.
Thanks, Mikel.
Thanks, Jack. We'll go to Niv from the Premier League.
Hi, good to see you. Declan Rice won the FSA Men's Player of the Year award, voted by the supporters across the UK. I can imagine when Declan joined just over 2 years ago, you had certain expectations of him. How much he exceeded those expectations?
I think he's very close to what we believe that he could bring to the club, to the team. and the way he could grow personally as well. And I think he fully deserves it. I think he's been incredibly consistent throughout the last 2 years. Last season again. Again, in big matches, in big moments, he's stepping up, which is a massive thing. You want to fulfill that role at a big club, and I'm delighted that he got it.
Can I ask you about another Mikel Merino? When he joined Arsenal, he already played over 200 games in the La Liga, won the Euros with Spain, a well-established midfielder. In your wildest dreams, did you ever imagine he'll become such a good striker? And as a manager as well, how much flexibility is giving you?
Yeah, as a striker, certainly not. But that's the thing as well that you learn when you sign a player. I knew that he could offer much more than what he had, and especially after I met him for the first time, because a player that has that amount of curiosity and the amount of question that he has, how will he is to learn constantly, the way he loves his profession and football. Yeah, it's difficult to put limits to that, because when someone wants to grow every single day, is that determined, that hungry to win and evolve and to be part of something, that's very powerful, and Mikel certainly has that.
Can I please ask you about Christian Norgard? And the last time Brentford managed to beat Arsenal, he scored the second goal. What made you decide that Christian is the right fit for Arsenal, and what are the chances of him being involved tomorrow against his former side?
Well, what I saw on the pitch, and then everything that I heard about him as a leader, and the role that he can fulfill, and the role that he was going to have here. And the moment I picked up the phone and spoke to him, he was super excited to join us. He brings something that we don't have in the squad, and I'm very happy to have him.
Ian Trossard.
Hi Mikel, how are you?
Very good, thank you.
Goalkeepers, you've been speaking about how things are evolution regarding rules around goalkeepers. Your goalkeeper you brought in over 2 years ago now is approaching 100 Premier League games for you. Not a bad goalkeeper.
It's an amazing goalkeeper, and yeah, it's a great story as well, and how it happened, because as well we tried to sign David much earlier. I think it was as soon as I arrived, almost, and he had to wait for another 2 years, and the start that he had and the journey that we had together, I think it's been phenomenal for us, and very happy to have him.
You'll be playing this old team tomorrow. In terms of signings you've made, because you spent £100 million on Declan Rice, a lot of money on other players, pound for pound, is he the best signing you've made?
No. Very difficult question to answer, but it's certainly one that is taking us to a different level, and it's certainly a player that has brought something different to our way of playing.
Both teams like to score from set pieces. Does that mean that we're not going to see too many goals from open play tomorrow?
I don't know, but I don't know a team in the Premier League doesn't like to score from set pieces.
You see that as a badge of honour then, rather than a criticism?
Well, we just consider a goal against Chelsea on a set piece, and they scored 7 corners. We scored 8, no? So I think we should all be set piece teams, because we all score and concede from set pieces, unfortunately.
Finally, just quickly about the fans, you said to make sure that they're on time for the game against Brentford. A lot of managers...
Before the game, not on time, just before.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of managers this week have had to answer questions about maybe their fans being a bit more positive towards their team. Your fans at the moment are just ultra positive towards your team. They couldn't be any more positive, could they?
Yeah, you can always be more, and especially when you play a different type of game, that's where you have to lift the standards, and the team the first, and ourselves as well, with the way we're going to play tomorrow, to lift everybody and make sure that we produce the same energy, atmosphere, and positivity around the place.
Thank you, good luck.
Alex, BBC.
Hi Mikel, I want to ask you about the injuries. You got Victor Gyökeres and Gabriel Jesus back into the squad on Sunday, but at the same time you lost William Saliba. Kind of been a theme of the season, key players picking up injury. How frustrating has that been for you throughout the season so far? Yeah,
especially how we lost them with Leo as well, because Leo was in a great moment, and Gabi Martinelli was just coming back, and we had to manage his minutes. He wasn't able to play more than what he did on Sunday. So managing that, the fact that obviously Willie trained the day before, and then he wasn't uncomfortable. Players not training in certain position, having to play there. But again, the attitude towards it and the way the players are performing and giving absolutely everything they can to fulfill those absences has been the key of the season, because we have to deal with a lot already.
And last season, those injury problems were probably the worst you've experienced in your managerial career. Did that prepare you for this season? Obviously, you have better squad depth, but what you learned last season, has that helped you to get through this tricky period?
Yes, because this season has been worse in some areas, especially in the front line, and now what's happening with the back line. But yeah, I mean, we learned and we were able to put that together, a squad that is much more reliable and have more options. We learned from the past as well that we have to use players in different positions and they have to be able to fulfill different roles if we want to compete at this level. And the example of Mikel that we were discussing before is just the best one probably.
Simon Standard?
Mikel, just on Kai, Julian Nagelsmann said a few weeks ago that he'd suffered a setback. Is that why he's not going to be back until possibly January? Is that what the issue is?
Yeah, so he was doing everything. He could not go to the next level, and now it's looking like we have unlocked that, and we're all desperate to have him. I mean, it's a player that personally I love so much for what he brings to the team, but his character, his personality, I see him suffer being outside. His playing record is phenomenal. He's been always available, and I can't wait to have him back around the team playing, because I think it's going to be a massive boost for the team.
And just on Declan, when he joined, you described him as a lighthouse. Mm-hmm. I just wonder how you would describe him now, and also you made a big point the past 6 months tying down all these key players, Gabriel, Saliba, Ethan Miles. Is he someone else on your list that you're looking at and thinking, I'd like to tie him down for 5 or 6 years?
That's the way I perceived him, that he could potentially be a lighthouse, and now he's become a lighthouse, which is very difficult to do a big club like Arsenal, but he fully deserves that. He's done it with every step in the way. First of all, behaving, acting, and with performance and attitudes that are at the highest level. And yeah, he's one that I'm sure, myself for sure, the club for sure, I'm going to have him here for many years.
Hi Mikel, you described the Chelsea game as a learning match. With the wins over Bayern and Spurs, you could almost describe the week as a learning week. And I'm curious what lessons you did learn from a week of really tough games where you nearly got 3 wins from 3 and came very close.
Yeah. Well, starting from Spurs, I learned because I learned a lot as well about the international break again and what happened. For example, what happened with Gavi and how can we correct that and never happening again. Then we played a game in a way that again we have to learn, and watching them you always learn from it. Bayern Munich brought different qualities, players that you don't see weekly, but we need the potential of it, and obviously what they were doing, and we took a lot from them, and the last weekend the same, and the amount of games that you have to play within a game, and what happened at Stamford Bridge in that sense, it's enormous, because something is the perception of what happened, and after it's actually what happened and why it happened. So it was a huge learning.
And James touched on this earlier, but the aggressiveness that Chelsea showed on Sunday, it was similar, and it was compared almost to the aggressiveness that Sunderland also showed in their game. 2 games where Arsenal did drop points. I think teams are going to look at that and see a blueprint. Maybe if we're aggressive, we can maybe get something from Arsenal. So how do you have to cope with perhaps the future aggressiveness that you might face from other teams?
I think every team in the Premier League, the first thing that they do is be aggressive. I mean, I don't think that's going to be something that teams are going to change at all. You take it to certain extremes, hopefully that will be looked after, like it should have been in the first action of the game on kickoff with Mosquera, but we have to deal, again, learn from it and use it in a better way, because we should have exploded what we had for a period of time. It wasn't 60 minutes because from 33 to 39 we didn't play, and then it was Piero and I played on the floor, and the next 4 minutes we didn't play, so almost a part of the second half.
Thank you.
Hi Mikel. I think around this time last year you mentioned with all these kind of games around the festive period, it's kind of hard to even get training sessions regularly, and I was just wondering, in those periods do you have to kind of alter the way you prepare for games, and how does that work? Do you have to focus on something that's maybe a bit more mental than physical, and how do you kind of work around that?
Yeah, there is a balance to it, obviously, and depending, sometimes we play 3 days after, sometimes 4 days after. Obviously, the schedule brings now a scenario that is 3 and 3. So yeah, we are used to it. We alter the preparation probably in the physical part a little bit more, but just rely much more on principles and what we have to do, and then tweak what we have to do in relation as well to the opponent's strengths and weaknesses.
And you spoke about sequences as well, sequences of games, and how you can kind of build consistency with, I guess, different types of formations and stuff like that. Is that something you can see in terms of kind of seeing games as blocks and kind of mapping it out like that?
Yeah, sometimes yes, sometimes no. Sometimes you play against back four or teams that are very direct and rely or want to take the game everything to a restart or a set piece. Other teams that they are completely different. We face for a period of time a lot of back fives and low blocks. Then this block of 3 games has been different. So yeah, depending. Sometimes you are lucky, so you say, okay, now for this period, this is going to help us for the next few games, and sometimes you just have to alter game by game.
And just on Saliba, with his injuries this season, I think they've been quite random, it seems. Is that how you see it? Because I think with the Anfield one, it was a twisted ankle.
Yeah.
And then how's this one come about? You mentioned he was uncomfortable in training.
Well, the ankle one, it was a really random and very unlucky action that kept him out for a few weeks. He tried at Anfield, he wasn't comfortable, and he had to stay away. And this one as well, very bizarre, but hopefully it will be a matter of days.
What we're witnessing week in, week out from Declan Rice, I think is freakish. You are getting a player that is guaranteed 90 minutes, 3 times a week from August to May, constantly running up and down the pitch. There isn't a single skill, attribute, nothing that he lacks, in my opinion. He's always good for a goal. He scans the game. His awareness is unbelievable. Tracking back, his decision-making flawless. Our top assister in the league. Constantly.
He takes corners, that's why.
The best set piece. The best set piece.
Matthew, how are we feeling on the back of the results against Chelsea? Big London derby, tough place to go. They were down to 10 men. How are you feeling?
Little bit flat. A little bit flat, I would say. The thing is with Arsenal is I'm going into every game expecting a win now. So then when it doesn't happen, it's really depleting, I'd say. I feel depleted. I think that, look, we're 13 games in now, right? And Arsenal, I think, have done enough to show the rest of the footballing world that we are the team to beat. I think anyone that sort of half knows what they're talking about would agree with that. 20 games in all competition, we've lost one game. And we're now at a stage where I feel like with Arsenal, Arteta has found, for the first time in his tenure, Arteta has got a proper core that, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe even 7 players know for a fact they are starting that game. They are a guaranteed starter. They play with each other. They know each other on and off the pitch like brothers. That, I think, could be what separates us from the rest. When I look at our competition, which is seemingly Man City and Chelsea, I don't think they've got that, or I don't think they have it to our level, to be honest. And Liverpool have lost their core, and you're seeing what's happening to them.
Do you, when you look at the game yesterday, it was built up, wasn't it, as Caicedo v Rice? Obviously, you know about the Caicedo challenge, but there was a tackle Declan Rice put in. I don't know, but about the first 15 minutes, he saved the goal basically, didn't he? He hooked his foot around.
Yeah, but he made up for it.
No, I know, but no, it was a great tackle, but the touch from Neto was class.
Yeah, but you've said that you think he's the best midfield player on the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Go on, why?
I think that he's showing levels right now. Look, last time I was sat here, Paul Scholes looked at me in the eye and he said that Tonali was a better footballer than Declan Rice. And I don't want to disrespect Tonali here. I think he's borderline
or Paul
world class.
Scholes.
Or Paul Scholes. I think he's borderline world class, if not world class. But I was actually very happy when that aired because I think it sort of showed how overshadowed Declan Rice's brilliance is. What we're witnessing week in, week out from Declan Rice, I think is freakish. You are getting a player that is guaranteed 90 minutes, 3 times a week from August to May, constantly running up and down the pitch. There isn't a single skill, attribute, nothing that he lacks, in my opinion. He's always good for a goal. He scans the game. His awareness is unbelievable. Tracking back, his decision-making, flawless. Our top assister in the league. Constantly.
He takes corners, that's why.
The best set piece specialist. Why is that a discredit to his game?
You've riled yourself a bit.
don't let him do it.
No, I'm not going to let
Don't
him.
let him do it.
Look, the thing is with Luke, when you make a good point, he likes to try and banner it off.
Okay.
You know that Declan Rice is the best on the planet, but the thing is...
He's not the best.
I don't think he
Who
is.
do you have? I mean,
I love Pedri. I prefer midfielders like
He's a
Pedri and stuff like that. He's probably the
How
best
many
in the Premier
times a
League.
year do you watch Vitinha for you to say that he's better than Rice?
No, mate. You've replied, so...
No, but I understand what you said about Declan Rice, right? He's amazing. He does things that catch the eye. But in terms of a midfielder, I want somebody who's brilliant on the ball. I don't even think he's the best on the ball in your midfield. Zubimendi, for me, is the key to Arsenal. And the fact that he got an early booking yesterday kind of took away from his game. And as a Chelsea fan, that's what I was focusing on before the game. I think Rice is amazing, right? Rice is incredible set pieces. He embodies everything you want from an English centre midfielder. But for me, when I want a centre midfielder, I want Kevin De Bruyne. I want somebody who's the best on the pitch, on the ball.
But
I don't think that's.
I think that's a little bit. We can all like different midfielders, and when Adam said Pedri, that's but and Vitinha, you just mentioned, but completely different players. So everyone's got their own strengths and weaknesses. But when you talk about Declan Rice, I've always said this. I feel like I'm watching Roy Keane, that type of player who can almost do everything. We sort of have midfield players now, don't we? Where we say, okay, he's the deeper one. He's the creative one. Or you mentioned Zubimendi. Okay, his job is to sort of almost like what Busquets was, sit deep, get on the ball, get the team playing. So you like your midfielder like that. Somebody else likes a certain type of midfield player. But I think with Declan Rice, that's the best way I could describe him, where he feels like a Roy Keane to me, but he does all of those things, really. He just looks power. I never feel anyone can run past Declan Rice, even when someone tries to dribble past him. It's a bit like that when I used to watch Roy Keane. Stevie was like that. They had this power in this frame.
He's the most unbelievable athlete, though. I feel like you don't...
I think Declan Rice is fantastic. I'm just trying to throw out other midfielders. I don't think he's the best in the world. I think he's arguably the best in the Premier League. Would you take Jude over him, or from an England fan's
I class
perspective?
Jude more as like a number 10, really.
Okay.
And that's the point. That's a really good point, because when we talk about midfield players, and we go to that debate, don't we, always, Gerrard, Lampard, Scholes, it's almost because we saw them as the goal-scoring ones. We see Keane and Vieira and Petit as almost like, they're just like centre midfield players. Do you understand what I mean? And there's like almost different midfield players now, because there's 3 players playing in there more often than not, isn't he?
Is Declan Rice caught up in between being like... He's not an out-and-out attacking midfielder, he's not an out-and-out sitting, he's kind of just caught up.
I think he's whatever the he wants to be, if I'm honest. He is our midfield. And people also underestimate the best ability being availability. And he is always available. The past week we've just had, he played the whole game. Spurs, Bayern, Chelsea, didn't stop running end to end, creating chances, good for a goal, like I said. We underestimate how important that is. And also, when we don't have the ball, he is our leader without the armband. He's the one communicating with every player. You stay here, you go there. He is our captain. And like you said, it's like a Roy Keane, but people don't like to admit that because it's today's day and age. Everyone likes to look back. But what we're witnessing right now from Declan Rice, I think is revolutionary.
Oh, no. That's you've gone way too far. Revolutionary.
He's on track for a Ballon d'Or. If we win the league, if we win the league and the World Cup,
I was having
Everton.
That's a big if.
That goes straight in the thumbnail.
Arsenal favourites for the league.
I understand what you're saying,
World
but
Cup. Declan Rice.
Revolutionary is ridiculous. Like Jamie played with Steven Gerrard. Like, I'm sorry, I love Declan
not
Rice.
revolutionary.
He couldn't lay Steven Gerrard's boots, and I think Declan Rice is amazing for today's day and age. He couldn't talk to Paul Scholes. He couldn't talk to Frank Lampard. He couldn't talk to any of those midfielders.
I think the midfielders you've just mentioned there, they've all won big trophies, and I think they've all been Player of the Year. So I think Kevin De Bruyne's been perfect Player of the Year. Stevie has. I think Roy Keane has. I think if Declan Rice goes on to win those trophies, what you're saying there, I'm not quite sure about the Ballon d'Or, but I could see, if Arsenal win the league this year, I think Declan Rice would probably be seen as the guy who's not won them the league, but I would imagine he would get Player of the Year, I would say, Declan Rice. So then that does put him in that conversation with those midfield players. And I do believe Arsenal probably will win the league and Declan will get that trophy. But you've just mentioned before, Matt, about Arsenal have only lost one game this season, so they've had a brilliant season. Everyone thinks they're not head and shoulders above everybody else, but a level above this season, certainly with the squad as well. Does it worry you that you've had such a great start that you're not almost further ahead and there's still an awful long way to go? Does that sort of worry you and nag you at the back of your mind? Because I don't think City, Liverpool or Chelsea have been that consistent. They've all dropped points and lost really poor games where you wouldn't expect them to. So is there almost that nagging doubt that you wish you were another sort of 4 or 5 points further forward?
I'm not worried. I don't think that the word is worried. Maybe if you look back on the patterns, like we and Luke was saying before, there are patterns of us slipping up. But I'm not worried in the sense that we've ticked some of the toughest places this league has to offer off the list. You know, we've been to Old Trafford, been to Anfield, been to St James's Park, been Stadium of Light, going to Villa Park next week. We battered Spurs at home, we played City at home. City have been very inconsistent away from home. Chelsea have been very inconsistent at home. So I'm looking at us and our discipline and our consistency, and I think that it's a level above everyone else around us. I'm not discrediting Chelsea, were superb yesterday, still couldn't beat us. City, superb at Alba.
10 men.
I think
I understand.
11 against 11, they win.
But they still couldn't beat us. I understand. I'm not saying that they should have with 10 men, but they couldn't beat us. City were superb when they came to the Emirates, still couldn't beat us. And it's also, I'm sure we might come onto it in a little bit, it's also the depth is just unbelievable. I know yesterday it didn't go as planned. We weren't, it was probably our worst performance of the season, but we didn't have our main centre-backs, both of them missing, and we've got Nketiah and Mosquera playing together for the first time in the league. I said to Luke beforehand, what happens if your two centre-backs get injured? Who have you got to come in? Ake and Stones. Would you back them to go to Stamford Bridge and take 3 points? Probably not.
You didn't take 3 points.
No, I understand.
Mikel Arteta delivered a fiery press conference ahead of Arsenal's clash with Brentford, demanding intensity, unity, and aggression from both players and supporters. He urged everyone at the Emirates to show up with animal energy, insisting that passion and hunger will define Arsenal's title push. Injuries, however, remain a concern. William Saliba and Leandro Trossard are close to returning, with Arteta calling their recovery a matter of days. But Gabriel is still expected to be out for weeks. Kai Havertz is also progressing, but still needs time before he can rejoin the squad. Despite setbacks, Arteta praised the group's resilience. He highlighted how players have adapted to unfamiliar roles and maintained competitiveness, proving the squad has depth and maturity to handle adversity. Arteta's message was clear. With the season entering a crucial phase, Arsenal must rediscover their edge. This match isn't just another fixture. It's an opportunity to make a statement, build momentum, and show the mentality of a champion. For Arsenal, this is a test of belief and bravery. If they fight with the intensity Arteta demands, they can keep their title dream alive.